Optimus, if you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
What Star Wars means to Family Guy, I think, is Family Guy is so much about pop culture. We're always referencing pop culture. We're always making fun of it, but also celebrating it in our own way. And Star Wars is probably the most prominent piece of pop culture of the last 30 years. I mean, it overshadows just about anything else.
Hello, welcome to our art show at Family Guy. Hope you guys enjoy it. We've got a lot of great pieces. Yeah. Good Family Guy inspired art from the Family Guy artists here on Star Wars, the best thing in the world, and we can do everything else.
It's interesting that Family Guy would choose to do Star Wars because the writers here, the people who work on this show, when you get to know them, you realize that Star Wars is integral to who they are, which is kind of fun, actually.
Hey, what are you doing with my Star Wars glass?
Illustrating a point.
I don't know any book or any piece of literature ever the way that I know Star Wars. And, you know, I think a few of us on staff are like that, and a lot of our fans are like that.
Draw pictures, do you? Come on! Strong with the Force, young Skywalker is.
God, I don't believe this.
That is why you failed.
We always go to Star Wars, because so many people on the show are huge Star Wars fans. So we go to that, well, a lot to mine comedy out of.
Oh, God, it's like Orson Welles' Autopsy. All right, just...
It actually became kind of a natural progression to actually say, okay, enough of these little bits here and there, let's just do an entire episode that's just Star Wars.
Oh, this is an even bigger jackpot than when the Emperor figured out the formula for great Star Wars dialogue.
Something, something, something dark side.
20th Century Fox has a very close relationship with Lucasfilm, and the lawyers at 20th Century Fox started to say to us, if you want to do these Star Wars gags in these episodes, we have to get the clearance from Lucasfilm.
Are you happy? I've never been happy.
Since they weren't giving us any choice, they started sending our gags to Lucasfilm, and Lucasfilm kept coming back saying, yeah, that's fine, great, go ahead. And we just kept sending new gags, and they kept saying yes. And so Seth got the idea of, like, why don't we just do the whole movie? Why don't we just do a Star Wars episode with our characters?
Raja Nabadua Gola Woke Nipple Pinchy. And a 1 and a 2.
Seth and I, hang out sometimes outside of work. We go and sing karaoke together.
Oh, no, the altos were early.
I remember him saying one night when we were there, what if we did a Star Wars episode? And I'd be like, I think that's the best idea you've ever had. And he said, well, and you would write it. And I was not going to argue with that. I was like, that would be, I could get, hit by a bus the next day and my life would be complete if that happens.
Oh man, this is the album I had when the movie first came out in 1977.
They told me I was going to direct the Star Wars episode. First thoughts, well, after I wet my pants, that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
What I remember getting the first outline to a title called Blue Harvest was disbelief. I think we just, and then we had to read it a couple times to realize that, oh my God, we might really be doing this.
It's always a battle, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a trade-off.
Detailed,
like this is really detailed. The Falcon is pretty detailed, so that's why they made me strip it of just about everything that we didn't really need for that shot.
Right.
Every artist on the show wanted to be involved in it. I mean, they're just all huge Star Wars fans, and I think they did a lot more work than they had to on this one because it was such a labor of love.
Storyboard artists would want to do even if they could just do a revision on one page of a storyboard, they just wanted to be part of it. Designers would be like, yeah, I really want to design those ships. And then, and everybody has so many Star Wars books and reference things that they wanted to finally put their knowledge of Star Wars to use, I think.
Here's what we're talking about right now. We're talking about Blue Harvest right here.
Oh, right. Look at
right
that.
Here. Look at that lineup. Go ahead and pan down that lineup.
Seth pretty much had the main characters in his mind. Like, I think originally I had thought that Quagmire would be Han Solo, just because it seems like, he's sort of like a womanizer and all that kind of stuff. But Seth felt pretty strongly that Quagmire should be C-3PO and Cleveland be R2-D2, which turned out to be the right choice because there's a lot of funny stuff between those guys.
I don't think that these were hard choices. The only unique one was Herbert as Obi-Wan, which came naturally from Chris being Luke. I don't remember whose idea that was, although I'm betting it was Seth's. We were talking about what we were going to do in this episode, and it was like, well, who are going to be Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen? And the only sort of parental figures we have on the show are Carter and Babs Peter-Smith, so that was a natural. And who's going to play Darth Vader? I mean, anybody could have come up with Stewie playing Darth Vader. That wasn't hard. But then Grand Moff Tarkin, well, Adam West is an authority figure in town, so that seems like a natural fit. And then it became, well, where's Meg gonna end up?
I think my one big contribution to the character parade was having Meg as the garbage compactor creature with the one eye and no lines, which I think usually gets a laugh.
Say hi, this is Joe. What's going on, Joe?
Hey guys, what's going on?
How you doing, buddy?
Hey, just listening to some tunes, working on the Star Wars episode.
Just a little show called Star Wars, huh?
Yeah, pretty much the coolest Family Guy episode ever.
What you working on?
Hey, right now I'm working on the cantina scene.
Why don't you tell us what kind of storyboard issues you had?
A lot of people were saying, oh, this is going to be easy because you can just copy shot for shot Star Wars, but you can't and keep it in the Family Guy style. So even this shot, although similar, is a lot different than the film. Like Luke and Obi-Wan are in the foreground, and R2 and 3PO are in the background. And so a lot of these scenes just kind of capturing the essence of Star Wars. So yeah, and this scene, copying the shots that Lucas had. We got some cantina dudes, and we wipe with a figure in the foreground to another character who in this case happens to be the evil monkey. And have some sweet pans across the desert here with the land speeder.
Some of the characters were difficult to draw because we have so many poses already to do for each character. Stewie, for instance, he has so many lines all over his helmet and his face, and all the gear he has to wear and all that stuff, that it's pretty labor intensive. But then on the other hand, he had no eyeballs, so we didn't have to worry about acting for him or Cleveland R2-D2.
Hello? Hey Steve, what's up? Is this about the Star Wars episode? Oh right, treat Cleveland R2 as if he's real R2. Sometimes the third leg comes out, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah. Is that it? Okay, bye. See, that kind of stuff's happening all the time.
Hidden the plan in one of these 26 briefcases.
It's fine. Could we step through that? Sure. See how it works. This is an animatic, and we're trying to make it just shooting the storyboards and moving them around, fussing on it. We kind of try to sell the show to like the writers and producers, so everybody looks at it and goes, "That's going to be great," and they don't rewrite it, and everything after that has to get timed and shipped over to Korea, where they do all the in-betweens in color.
Oh, it's okay. I'm just happy to be on TV. All right, take it away. So when will this be on?
When Lucas really got behind Seth and us on this project, the whole thing sort of crystallized because Seth's vision was really to have it be Star Wars. We go in the editing room and we're watching a scene from our Star Wars from Blue Harvest. The editor will have the actual film up next to it, and you can see how much of it is just replicated.
Is there a frame right after that looks weird?
Yeah.
That one, that turn.
The truth is, a big part of it is just emotional for a lot of these writers who grew up on Star Wars and love the whole Star Wars franchise, that Lucasfilm actually appreciates what we do enough to sort of support us. Makes everyone feel amazing. I remember what happened in the writer's room when we heard that Lucasfilm was not only on board with us using that final sequence of Star Wars in our show, but actually said that they would like it to be sort of shot by shot. And to a lot of the writers, they sort of took that as they're actually accepting us as a show that they like and they want to support, and it made people feel really great.
I loved meeting George Lucas because for 5 minutes I pretended I was in the same business that he is. Here's one of the iconic filmmakers of the 20th century, and he's talking to me. I got to thank him for all the help. And I think he's obviously a very busy guy, so I'm not sure he knew the specifics of us doing this Family Guy episode, but he was very nice. And obviously getting to meet George Lucas was pretty fucking exciting.
In the script, a normal first draft is usually around 50 pages, and I think mine was like about 85 or 90. All the writers tear it apart, change so many jokes, make things way better, way funnier than I could ever do on my own. And so then we get to see it at animatic stage.
You hear that? Sounds like we're being boarded from the rear. And not the hey, take a deep breath, let's experiment kind of boarded from the rear.
Beep boop. Could you hold on to this bag?
Seeing the animatic was just amazing. Usually you have a normal crowd for the animatics and they fill up the seats in this room. There's usually about 60 or 70 people in there. And for this animatic, it was just people being turned away, overflow, all that. Just people so excited to see it.
My God, look at this mess. Hey, Darth Vader's gonna be here. Should we maybe clean the place up? No, it's okay. He won't mind.
There was so much great stuff in it, and the animators had so much fun animating it because, as it turns out, a lot of the directors and animators were huge Star Wars fans, so they really took their time in a lot of these sequences and really milked it. And before you knew it, we were like 50% longer than we thought we were going to be.
And we paid to keep the families of those children quiet, so...
Oh, this is just like logistical stuff. I'll check that later.
Spider-Man underoos.
And so I talked to our executive producer, David Goodman, and I said, I really think that maybe this is an hour-long show.
Hey, why would you hang that up? It looks so tantalizing.
And if you've interviewed him and you have his voice on tape, he said, no way, no way. And so then, of course, when I came back and we brought it in, Seth later said, I think this might be an hour-long show. And David, in his usual fashion, was like, oh yeah, definitely. So now it's an hour long.
Princess Leia, we've chosen to test our Death Star planet blower-upper gun on your home planet of Alderaan.
No!
She said no. Should we still do it?
Yeah.
In general, I think the hardest scenes probably were, we had to follow the movie, because it was a retelling of A New Hope through Peter. But it had to be shot a lot of times in sort of a way that was more representative of the style of Family Guy.
Good evening, Death Star. Tonight, a special report on the controversial attack on Alderaan.
While some view the attack as unwarranted, the Empire has obtained proof that Alderaan was in possession of weapons of mass destruction.
So it was kind of cracking that code visually to see what we could do to still keep the essence of the original New Hope and look almost as if it was identical and yet still retain some of the new gags and lines and the spirit of Family Guy.
Aren't you a little fat to be a stormtrooper?
Well, stay here and rot, you stuck-up bitch.
Wait.
We tried to make all the ships pretty accurate to Star Wars, but then they're a little puffier. There's a little more cockpit area room so that the chubby Family Guy characters could feel like they were in the same universe.
What the hell? Oh my God, we came out of hyperspace into an asteroid field!
I thought it would be very cool to name the episode Blue Harvest because Blue Harvest was the fake production title of Return of the Jedi.
Because if they said it was Return of the Jedi, fans would be showing up to set. If call sheets got out and location managers, were calling it calling it Return of the Jedi, you would have had fans showing up in the forest and ruining shots and doing all this. So they called it Blue Harvest to sort of hide it from the public when they were shooting it.
So I thought, wouldn't it be clever to name our Star Wars episode Blue Harvest to sort of, for the geek fans would know what it meant already and other people would be sort of in the dark. But now, of course, we are doing Empire and Return of the Jedi, so it would have made way more sense to call the Return of the Jedi episode Blue Harvest. And so I kind of feel badly that I burned that title.
Can I see your lightsaber? Wait, how does it work?
There you go. Easy with that then.
Wow.
Oh!
Wow.
When we screened the color screening here of Star Wars, we had a lot of outside people there, and it did really well.
It's the story of Star Wars. Let's begin with part 4.
They screened the color here like 3 or 4 separate times. They screened it once and there was overflow and went crazy. They screened it again later in the day for people that couldn't be at the first screening. They screened it for the American Dad writers, and I feel like they screened it, you know, another time. So I think that everybody kind of knows that sees it that it's gonna like totally kick ass.
Governor Tarkin, I recognized your foul stench as soon as I was brought on board.
Actually that's me. I'm in Darth duty. I sift my pants. My diaper's gone over to the dark side. I got pages of these, I can go on.
I feel badly because I feel like everybody tried a little harder on this episode that happens to have my name on it, so the end product is just gonna be like so awesome.
Obi-Wan!
Of this ado, I want to bring out the people who make Family Guy. Let's bring them out. We've got executive producer and writer David A. Goodman.
We took some scenes to Star Wars convention here in Los Angeles, and it was a little nerve-wracking. We cut together some clips.
When you have an audience of like 2,000 or 3,000 people there, the laughs are always just so great and you know, just rolling and long and loud. And I mean, it was just like an explosion for the Star Wars 10 minutes. They were so hungry for it and just so right there with every joke.
What would you rather do? Jabba the Hutt right after a shower or a service droid?
My father was a service droid.
Our opening crawl, I mean, we all enjoyed it and we all laughed at it, but to hear this room full of 3,000 people laughing at every joke on the screen and laughing at the next one and the next one, and there was building laugh watching that crawl. What an amazing moment. The writing staff and the animators got to see, you know, an audience reaction, which we never get to see, and then just big laughs all the way through it.
And then, of course, there's that first shot of the Imperial ship coming over, and then it has the Bush-Cheney bumper sticker on the back of it, and that just explodes the crowd. And there are so many points in that 10 minutes that we showed them where the laughter was so loud that it would cover up like the next joke.
Yeah! That's how we do it in my neighborhood, bitch!
It's just great. I wish that I could watch that episode only with 3,000 people every time.
I got him! I got him!
Right, kid, don't get penisy!
I think for a year or however long you work on it, at some point you're like, am I getting tired of this episode? But I mean, that's inevitable. But when you then see it with a crowd of people afterwards and you see the reaction that everybody has, it just comes back to you.
Go get it!
It's a pretty neat privilege to work on an episode like this.
Hey, when we get out of here, maybe you can show me around your home planet of Alderaan. Oh, too soon!
It's actually almost a dream, really, to watch something as a kid that you really enjoyed and had influenced your life career-wise and creatively. To be able to do something, you know, for that is really, it's an amazing experience.
The detail on those ships, it's all comes from the amount of extra work everybody put in on this episode just because they loved it.
Pew, gotcha.
Led by Don Pulcino, who just went to town directing this episode, just did an amazing job.
I think that fans will really like it because the animation studio in Korea really did a bang-up job. Every scene has CG elements and it has shadows, and it's just something really fun to look at. So I see this being something people will watch again and again.
So we're gonna plug up that hole?
Yeah, we can get it done tomorrow if price is no object. We'll get estimates.
Get estimates, yeah.